In early 2025, we began with a question. What if a government drowning in debt chose not to solve its problems, but to hide them? What if it manufactured a crisis so terrifying that no one would dare ask why pensions were cut, why care homes closed, why factories stood empty? We called it fiction. We called it Ablenkung distraction. A story where elites stage a false flag attack to blame Russia, declare emergency, and silence dissent. But then reality began to mirror our script, line by line, headline by headline. Germany's public debt now stands at 2.8 billion in euro. Its Target 2 claims, money owed by other Eurozone countries through the central banking system, amount to 1.35 billion in euro. Together, this is an exposure of over 4 billion in euro, more than the nation's entire annual economic output. And yet, Pflegegrad First is abolished. Bürgergeld is slashed. Over 500,000 small and medium enterprises have vanished since 2022. While billions flow to Ukraine, to defense, to future funds built on even more debt. The government says there is no alternative. But we asked, what if the alternative is a lie? Then came the drones. Reports flooded in from London to Oslo, from Warsaw to Copenhagen. Russian drones violating NATO airspace, disrupting airports, probing defenses. But physics tells another story. A consumer drone has a range of only 3 to 5 kilometers. If it is seen over Ramstein Air Base, it was launched from German soil, not from Kaliningrad. So who is flying them? Teenagers with DJI Mavics, activists documenting military sites, or provocateurs, state or non-state, staging false flags to create panic. Former MI5 chief Eliza Manningham-Buller declared, "We are already at war with Russia." But she did not mention that Western intelligence agencies conduct the same operations, just on the other side of the border. The truth is this: war is no longer declared. It is manufactured, one buzzing drone at a time. On November 21, 2024, Russia launched a new missile at Dnipro, Ukraine. It was called Oreshnik. It carried no explosive warhead. It relied solely on kinetic energy, traveling at Mach 10, weighing over 10 tons. When it hit the ground, it created a crater 15 meters wide. Buildings shook for kilometers. Windows shattered. No explosion, just raw physics. This was not an attack. It was a demonstration. A message to NATO: we do not need nuclear weapons to destroy your cities. Our conventional hypersonic weapons are enough. And because it carried no warhead, Russia could claim it was merely a test, avoiding immediate escalation while proving its capability to strike anywhere in Europe. 2 days earlier, on November 19, 2024, Vladimir Putin signed a new nuclear doctrine. It states that Russia may use nuclear weapons not only in response to a nuclear strike, but also if conventional attacks create a critical threat to its sovereignty or that of its ally, Belarus. This lowers the threshold dramatically. A large-scale drone swarm. A missile strike on Crimea. Even reliable intelligence of an incoming attack, all could now justify nuclear response. This is not bluster. It is policy. And it is a direct reaction to Western escalation, especially the U.S. decision to allow Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia. In Washington, President Donald Trump, now in office, has embraced the role of war president. He authorized Ukraine to use U.S. long-range missiles against Russian territory. He announced a $1 trillion military budget for 2026. He renamed the Department of Defense the War Department. At Quantico, he told 800 assembled generals, "They spit, we hit back." Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth declared, "Your job is not to protect feelings, it's to kill people and destroy things." He banned diversity offices, climate initiatives, and gender policies. He shamed fat generals and demanded a return to a hyper-masculine warrior culture. Trump added, "We will use dangerous cities like Chicago as military training grounds." This is not defense. It is militarization of domestic politics. In Berlin, Chancellor Friedrich Merz echoes the drumbeat. Leading a black-red coalition unwanted by much of the public, he told the Rheinische Post, "We are not at war, but we are also not at peace." When drones were reported over Schleswig-Holstein, he warned, "We must not let them into European airspace." But he did not ask, who really launched them? His rhetoric serves a purpose: to justify emergency budgets, cut social programs, and distract from Germany's economic collapse. The real civil war is not with Russia, it is within Europe itself between elites and citizens. And the public, distracted, exhausted, told that every cut to care, every factory closure, every pension reduction is wartime necessity. But history warns us. In 1984, Soviet submarines appeared off Sweden, triggering a national crisis. Years later, Soviet leader Yuri Andropov laughed. Bombard them, we didn't send them. It was a Western false flag operation. In 2023, Chinese spy balloons floated over the U.S., likely weather devices. In 2024, over 3,000 mystery drone sightings were reported across America with no attribution. Now in 2025, drones vanish over Denmark, never captured, never proven to be Russian. Yet the narrative is set. Russia is testing NATO. War is inevitable by 2029. But who profits? British arms firms launch Project Octopus, producing drones in London, testing them with Ukrainian blood. As Ukrainian commentator Ruslan Ostashko said, the money flows to London, not Kiev. Ukraine becomes a test field where Western technologies are proven with real blood. Rheinmetall, Lockheed Martin, Bay Systems, record profits. Politicians gain legacy, media gain ratings, and the people. They lose care, pensions, hope. We were told this war is about freedom, but freedom is curtailed by emergency laws. We were told it's about stopping tyranny, but tyranny is mirrored in militarized policing. We were told it's about protecting Europe, but Europe is deindustrialized, divided, drowning in debt. Even Russia's actions, while brutal, stem from a real fear. NATO's expansion to its borders, the rejection of its 2021 security proposals, the arming of Ukraine right up to Crimea. Would the U.S. accept Russian bases in Mexico? History says no. The Cuban Missile Crisis proved that great powers defend their spheres, but invasion is not defense, it is overreach. And the world sees through it all. From Africa to Latin America, trust in the West is collapsing, not because of propaganda, but because of broken promises. Iraq's WMDs, Libya's regime change, Syria's unverified claims, Ukraine's empty security guarantees. Nations are now building alternatives. BRICS trades in gold and local currencies. De-dollarization accelerates. The West's moral authority is fading. But there is hope. It lives in those who still ask, who benefits? Where is the proof? What are they hiding? Because as long as people see clearly, the distraction cannot be total. This is not prophecy. This is reflection. Of a world where fiction became truth, one lie at a time. Ablenkung. When the powerful lose their minds, the sane must hold the line. And you, reading between the lines, questioning the drumbeat, refusing to look away, you are the line. Stay awake. Stay free. The truth needs you.